What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video, and welcome to the 10.2 tier set transmog tier list. Say that 10 times fast, I dare you. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. This is obviously entirely subjective, but I want to hear your comments down below. I'm going to rate what I think the best dressed class is going to be in 10.2 based on the tier set bonuses that we finally have. We can see them all. I've got most of them on characters. I don't have every single character at level 70, which means I can't look at the tier set bonuses like exactly on my character, but we can do some stuff to get around that, and I'll get to that when I get that. Here's categories. All right, best dressed, second best dressed, mid, ew, and never again. Okay, these are the categories that we're working with. Every one of these classes will end up in one of these categories, and we're just gonna do it in order of what they show up here. Okay, that's the format that we're going with. That's what we're going to be doing, and let's just dive right into it. All right, so let's start with Death Knight. This is the first one on the list here. I'm just going to show you this right here. This is the new tier set bonus. This is exactly what it looks like. I've got them all right here. Thorns of the Risen Nightmare. So Risen Nightmare is kind of the theme. This is fairly bland looking in a sense. It's sort of like a set from Torghast almost. It's very like spiky. It's very brown. There isn't a whole lot going on, but it does look pretty good. I actually think it's fine. The spikes are pretty cool. The skulls in the shoulders are very cool. And I think it obviously looks like a Death Knight. I don't think there's any two bones about it. You can see that the previous tier sets have actually really taken on like a theme, right? So if we look at this one was like golden in season 1. And then in season, the current season we're in right now, it kind of feels like a Frost DK set. And then the new set that's coming, which I have on right now, it's a little bit more generic. So I think it actually supports like all three of the Death Knight specs pretty well, which is fine, but it does look a little bland. And so for that reason, I think it's going to end up going into the second best category. So I would put it right here. It's actually going to go down this row a little bit. I think this looks good. It looks like a Death Knight set. It feels like a Death Knight set. It's just a little bit boring on the colors is what I would argue. But otherwise, I think this actually looks pretty clean. There's also no fancy things going on with the shoulders, which is another detractor. There are some tier sets that have insanely cool shoulders. So this is going to go on our second best dressed, but it will fall down this row quite a bit, and you're going to see that once I get there. Okay? All right. Let's move on to the next one. All right, Demon Hunter is next on the list. So let's look at the tier set bonuses again that were in season 1, 2, and now what's going to be in season 3. So the very beginning of the expansion, we had this kind of, again, wild looking elemental one, a lot of gold. I feel like it doesn't really suit the Demon Hunter theme of being like darker, maybe a little bit purple, a little bit like a little edgier, right? It's like all the edge is gone. So I don't think that was a super good tier set bonus. The current tier set bonus looks like this, which I think it's even worse. Yeah, it's got the dragon theme, and it does some cool stuff on the shoulders, but I think it's really bad. And then the next one in the next tier, I think is like slightly better than the current one, but I also think it's still really bad. I'm going to take a hard line on this one, and you might disagree with me. And I'm sorry I can't show you this on my main character. I'm only level 65 in this guy, so this is the best you're going to get. But I think this is really bad. And the helmet is kind of cool with the horns, and it's all green and stuff. That is sort of cool. The shoulders are okay, but it should not be gold. Why are tier set bonuses for Demon Hunter like gold and shiny? Like, it doesn't fit the Demon Hunter aesthetic in my mind. When I think Demon Hunter, I don't think nice shiny green and gold armor with like this headpiece. Sure, is kind of cool. It's very Demon Hunter-y, but the rest of it is actually kind of garbage in my opinion. So this is going way down into the never again category. I think almost all the tier set bonuses for Demon Hunter should go in the never again category for this entire expansion so far. Please let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. I'm obviously not a Demon Hunter main, but I just think thematically, when I think Demon Hunter, I think dark, brooding, edgy. This is not what this is, right? None of those things. So pretty big disappointment to me on this one, but nevertheless, we march on. Let's move on to Druid. All right, now this is a tier set bonus. Look at this thing. This is so gorgeous. Oh my god. I think that this fits exactly how I would think of a Druid tier set bonus. It's very like wavy. It's got longer lines, lots of feathers on this one. There's feathers on the shoulders. There's a really cool belt that I've kind of attached to it there. Look at all the kind of leather feathers that are going on down here. This sort of front on the dress here. really, really cool. It feels like you're a druid, like you're a bird, like you're maybe multiple shape-shifting forms at once. You got the owl hat on the one shoulder, and then over here you got more of like the falcon or like the raven, whatever that might be, right? There's a definite 2 different birds there. It is so incredibly good, in my opinion. I think this fits exactly how you're going to want for the druid. The only unfortunate part for druid, even the feathers coming out of the hands are really cool too, right? Look at those. Look at the detailing there. It's really, really good. The only issue that I think for druid is that you're going to be shapeshifted most of the time. Now, there are also some new shapeshift forms that are coming for druid, so I think it's actually fine. We are only focusing on the tier set bonus appearance right now, but you will be shapeshifted probably most of the time. Now, if you're a healer or if you're a boomkin with the astral form or whatever, then you can actually just stay with your tier set bonus. But if you're a guardian druid or a feral druid, unfortunately, you're going to end up not being able to see this most of the time, which is a bit of a bummer, but nevertheless, it doesn't take away from the fact that this is an amazing, amazing looking tier set bonus, and we are going to rank this right at the top. This is the best dressed for sure. We're going to see if it stays in first place, but for now, Druid is in first place. Okay, let's move on. All right, next we've got Evoker, and one of my big complaints here about the tier set bonus for Evoker is that you are like literally never in your visage form, basically, and that seems to be where this tier set bonus shows up the best. So, for example, if we do this, you can see the Season 1 tier set bonus was actually pretty cool. I like the way this looks. The current tier set bonus right here is actually cool as well. I don't think it's actually quite as cool as the Season 1 one, because, I don't know, it's just not as good. These wings, I don't know what's going on with these wings back here. We look like a bat or something. The next tier, 10.2, is going to look like this, and it's pretty cool. The shoulders are pretty unique. It almost looks like it's got some sort of fish head thing going on. Maybe, I can't quite tell. It looks like maybe a... If you look at this over here, it is Wormkeeper, but I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This looks okay. It's okay. I still like the Season 1 one better. Like, way better. I like this way better. But the bigger issue that I'm having is if you switch to visit your other form, and then we go back and look at this, you can see it barely even shows up on the form that you're going to spend most of the Valdrakken form. You're going to spend most of your time like this. The shoulders come through and the chest kind of comes through, but otherwise, like, it doesn't really show up. So I don't know. I think that I don't think this is going to be good. It won't matter for me because I'm not going to be playing Evoker, but that's not the point of this video. The point of the video is to say, are these tier sets good or are they not? I think this looks okay. I think, unfortunately, you're never going to be in Visage form would be my primary thought there. So our Evoker here is going to go into the mid section here. Boom, right there. And it's actually going to fall down a little bit on the mid section once we get there. So stay tuned for that. Let's move to the next one. All right, baby. Next on the list is Hunter. And I really like this Hunter tier set bonus. The belt, I think I should have changed. The belt isn't part of the set, by the way. It's something I just put in there, but you could change that to something like orange. I don't know what. Let's just look at this really, really quickly. You could change this to something orange, right? This is just a PvP thing. You could go like that even. Let's just do that just for now. Just to make it a little bit more consistent. So there you go. There's like the full tier there. I think this looks really good, actually. In particular, what I really like is that the chest piece here, and then you've got like the chain underneath, and underneath on the arms on both sides, and then you're back to like the more plate. I know it's all mail, but like the way that they've constructed that to divide up the different sections makes it look really, really cool, and it makes it really feel like you've got chainmail kind of underneath everything, which I think is fantastic. It's a very good look. And of course, the shoulders are just amazing. One of the few shoulders that have an effect that's kind of glowing all the time, and they look like these awesome kind of dragon heads that the hunter has gone out and like hunted and just mounted into his armor. Like, that's really the feeling that I kind of get. So I personally love this hunter one, and I think that it's just been designed really well. The details are really, really good. Again, the chainmail getting up underneath the armor there is super good. And then you're kind of, it's all kind of like glowing with this energy, which I think is really cool as well. So I am in love with the hunter one. I think it's very, very good, and I think it deserves to go up into the best dress category just underneath Druid. We'll see if anybody can topple Druid, but it definitely deserves to go up here. So this one's looking really, really good. Let's move on to Mage. All right, this one is just wicked cool. I feel like mages like often get really cool looking tier set bonuses, but this one is absolutely bonkers. I mean, look at my hat. First of all, it's this ticking clock thing going around. It's just, I don't know what's going to happen. Is a bomb going to go off? I'm not really sure, but there's also this rotating piece in the middle. This hat is super cool. And then we move to the shoulders, and they've got a rotating kind of dial thing going as well, which is super cool. Like, there's got to be 8 different moving parts, and this has got like a clock thing going on it as well. The shoulders and the hat alone really make this tier set bonus work. The rest of it is kind of whatever. I am also playing a panda. I'm aware of the crime that I'm committing, and it doesn't probably look as good on a panda, but I still think it looks sharp. It looks good. And this tier set bonus is absolutely S tier for me. This makes a lot of other tier set bonuses look like their developer just didn't put a lot of time into them, because just the detail. There's some swinging clock things here as well off the shoulders, like a big standing like time clock. I was gonna say like a big whatever, a big band or whatever that kind of is, but those big tower clocks just going back and forth, and then all the spinning stuff. It is really cool. It is really, really cool, and I like it a lot. So this tier set bonus is deservedly going up into the S category as well, up into the best dress. It's very good. I'm actually going to put it slightly ahead of the Hunter one because I think it deserves to be there. So very, very cool on the Mage. Loving it. Let's move on to Monk. All right, Monk. I think when I initially saw the Monk set, I was a little bit like, this doesn't look super great. I wasn't really impressed with it. There isn't anything like glowing on it like it is for the Hunter set or certainly for the Mage set. And I think sometimes the choices that are made by Blizzard is a little bit strange in that regard. Like, the tier set bonuses, you feel like there should be some parity there in terms of, like, the ones that are just glowing like crazy versus the ones that don't. So, the current tier set bonus that we have is pretty miserable. I'm not going to lie. Like, I would never wear this out in public. It's pretty bad. The Season 1 was actually very cool. I like this one a lot. But this one has now grown on me, and I also like the way that it looks quite a bit. It works very, very well with this Legion artifact weapon on my back as well. It's got a very good sort of dark maroon theme going on, which is fantastic. And I think you can see the detail on the sides with the crane is super cool as well. I love kind of the feathers, and even on the handguard, we've got another animal here. This looks like it could be a crane or a different other kind of bird. Monk is associated with lots of different animals, which is super cool. I'm glad they decided to jump on that and really, you know, work that into this tier set. So I actually really like this one. I don't think it's S tier by any means, but if you sort of check it out for a long time, you take a really close look at it, you can see it's actually pretty awesome. Even the boots themselves, if I can get a close up of the boots, probably can't. Oh, there we go. There's like feathers sticking out of the boots, like as if there was another bird down there. So really going all in on the crane theme. I like the way it looks, and it's going to go into the second best dress category. I'm actually going to put it above DK right now, but it might not stay there. We'll have to wait and see. Let's move on to the next one. All right, it's time for Paladin, baby. I think when I did my video on like Rep Paladin and Holy Paladin and stuff, like it's rough. Like this thing, it's just the helmet. The helmet really, to me, just makes this really rough. I don't know anybody who kind of loves this tipped crown business. Like, I know it looks like a crown, I get it, but and this middle part here looks okay with the glowing eyes and the glowing mouth. I kind of like that. The shoulders are decent actually with the sword. They're very simple but very decent. But I don't know, if you just kind of stand back and look at it, he looks really dumb. Okay, he just looks kind of dumb. She looks dumb in this case. Like, I don't know. I don't know how else to say that. I just think he looks kind of stupid. So I really wish they'd change the top of this. This, again, the eyeball glowing and the mouth part, and then these swords are decent, but this crown part is ruining this for me. It's actually ruining the whole thing for me. So, unfortunately, this set for me goes down in the U category. I just can't. I can't get over the fact that this crown looks the way that it does, and when I'm running around, I kind of look like a derpy idiot. That's just how I feel with this set on. So compared to some of the other sets, certainly I think that this needs some work, and I wish they had done something different with the helmet. So let me know what you guys think about this one. This might be a controversial take, but I think this looks kind of dumb. So let's move on to Priest. All right, Priest here. I think that one of the things I want to say the most about the Priest set is that it feels like it fits Priest aesthetically. Like, this is a very cool detail on the shoulders. You kind of have that guardian angel with the, you know, the essence floating around in there, as if you're kind of saving somebody's life with that guardian angel. It's very much like a disc or a holy priest idea there, but it looks very priesty in general, which is super cool. I think that this whole set definitely feels like a priest set to me. It definitely sits on you very, very well and feels very much like a priest. I don't think it's the coolest looking one in the game. Like, I think they could have done more with it. When you sort of look back, it doesn't necessarily look like anything super cool is going on. A couple of interesting red flares, and then again, there's the glow on the shoulders, but you have to zoom in really far just to see what's going on. I feel like if you were to zoom out and just look at this, it wouldn't catch my eye right away and be like, oh god, that is such a cool preset. I also think if you're in shadow form, if you don't have the shadow form like reduction glyph, then it's actually just hard to see any of the tier set bonuses when you're playing Shadow Priest, which is pretty annoying. So, like, I have the Shadow Priest glyph that reduces the effect, the like, how crazy the shadow form shows through, and it still basically covers up most of the detail of what's going on here. So, unfortunately, there's problems that way with the tier set bonus. That's always going to be a problem for Shadow Priest in particular, but I do think this set is very mid. I think it's okay. I don't think it's amazing, but I do think it's kind of, it fits the priest theme very, very well. It looks like a good cloth set. It's just missing some really cool flair. I don't know, it's a little bland, I guess I want to say. And then if you go into shadow form, it just kind of ruins the whole thing, which really sucks, but that is the way it is. So let's move on to Rogue. All right, we're on the Rogue. This this tier set bonus was like a very real choice that the developers made. I actually don't think it's bad. It's just like a very real choice that they made. There's like these interesting balls dangling down here on the side. Let me get my weapons as you can see. Yeah, you know, there's obviously all the sort of talons coming out of the back, which look very, very roguelike, which is super cool. It's very orange, so you have to kind of probably account for that with your weapons and stuff. I think it looks fine. You almost look you look kind of like a cross between like the V for Vendetta guy with like the mask and like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man because of like these grenade things on the side, whatever these are. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, and it's okay. I just think it's a very real choice that they made. They went in a very particular direction, you know? They were like, this is what we're doing. So I think it's okay. I'm going to throw it into the mid category here. It's not like anything crazy. I do think it's better than Evoker. I don't think it's quite as good as Priest, but it was a very real choice, and I think some people are going to hate this, and some people are going to love it, but I think there's going to be that big 50-50 split between people who are like, I don't want to be an orange Green Goblin, and people who are like, hey, I love it. It's like the coolest thing ever. So let me know what you think about this one in particular. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. It's got some cool themes going on, but it's a little bit of wacky, you know? All right, let's move on. All right, Shaman time, baby. This is a character that I'm going to be playing a lot, so I'm hoping that this tier set bonus is good. And I have to say, everything on a dwarf just looks terrible, so we need to keep that in mind. I don't have another... Like, I think on a Draenei, for example, this would look really, really good. Even maybe on a Tauren, it might look better. But on a dwarf or a Dark Iron dwarf, it's just so bad every time. I don't know what to say about it. It just is. The only real cool things on this set that are here, like, it's got a lot of this kind of fur thing going on. Oh, I thought I jumped off the edge. It's got a lot of fur going on. So there's fur dangling, and then there's the wolves on the side, which is very cool. Don't get me wrong. And then there's the horns kind of coming up that also have that interesting flair. It's got a real green to it. The wolves are an interesting choice because not all 3 specs use wolves, right? In fact, Ellie and Resto are, you know, don't have wolves. There's just that. It's a very enhanced themed idea, and I don't believe it changes if you switch specs. I'm in Ellie spec right now, so it's staying as a wolf. I thought maybe the shoulders would change depending on what spec you're in, which would be super cool, but they do not. It looks okay. The like rugged tracker, almost a hunter kind of thing going on here. It's okay, but I don't know. I don't love it. The shoulders look a little bit too big for the rest of the set, particularly on a Dark Iron dwarf. Like, look at the size of my head compared to the size of these wolves. Like, it's kind of silly, right? It looks misproportioned a little bit. So there's some definite problems with it, and it's definitely not my favorite. This is going into the mid category once again. It's going to go above Evoker, but I don't think it's better than these other two. It just has some serious kind of problems with, like, proportions and with it feeling more like a hunter tracker type thing, maybe than a shaman. Like, I don't get elemental vibes from this, right? The shaman is the master of the elements, and we probably had that, I think, in our previous tier set bonuses, which is why they've deviated away from it. Like, everybody was kind of looking like an elemental person in Season 1. And then in the current tier set bonus, again, there's lots of elemental sort of lightning sparks coming off with, like, a dragon touch. And here they just completely abandoned all of that, and they went, like, for this hunter tracker thing with the wolves. So it's kind of a little strange. I think they should keep some of the elemental theme with every Shaman set, and they kind of didn't this time around. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about that one for sure. But let's move on to Warlock. We got 2 more specs. The second last one is Warlock. All right, let's look at Warlock. Let's look at the tier sets here. So let me check once again on the history of Warlocks. I don't have a fully leveled Warlock. My apologies again for that. But if we look at the Season 1 tier set looked really dumb, I think, for them. The shoulders were just so massive. Unfortunately, on like every short modeled character like dwarves, for example, the shoulders just look so ridiculous. They didn't scale them very well, but it looked kind of silly for a Warlock, right? They're not supposed to be shining and glowy in orange. The current season tier set is actually pretty good. It actually feels a lot more like a Warlock spec. It's got some really cool shoulder details with like demons that it feels like you've got like a muzzle over top of a demon's mouth or something, and you're keeping it at bay. I think that's actually super cool. I like the look of that a lot. Here's the tier set coming for 10.2, and I think it looks even more like a Warlock set. It does sort of look generic. There's nothing too crazy about this set to me that screams that it's amazing like the Druid one did or the Mage one did, but these shoulders are pretty cool. They're so big that like one eyeball's on one side, one eyeball's on the other. You can get different kind of looks there. It looks like a Warlock set. It's got the spikes, very similar to a Death Knight or like a Rogue, and it's got that dark, you know, very red, demonic looking, and it's very spiky. I think it fits the Warlock theme. It just doesn't scream to me that it's like, you know, super crazy, super amazing at all. So this is going to go into the mid category. We're going to put it right here. It goes ahead of Evoker, unfortunately, for Evoker, but that's where it's going to settle on the list there. I think it looks good, but it's not like, you know, not blowing my mind over here. All right, that's Warlock. Let's move on to Warrior. All right, last but not least, we got Warrior. If you guys watch any of my Warrior videos for 10.2 stuff coming up, you know that my opinion of this is pretty low. I don't know, man. This is tough. It's on a Cultiran, so you kind of just look chunky no matter what. This is a Cultiran lady. Like, you kind of look like a beefcake running around, and that is just the way that it works anyway as a Cultiran. So it's whatever. Okay, that part's whatever. But the steam coming into the shoulders is actually quite cool. I like this little handlebar here. It really looks like you've got 2, like, furnaces sitting on your shoulders, which I think is super cool. But what is going on with this helmet? And why is it glowing red at the top for no reason? Like, this to me, they really messed this part up, I think, big time. It looks like I have a giant potato on my head that keeps lighting up red because the furnaces over here are, like, cooking it. So I'm, like, cooking my own brain, and I'm getting, like, Warrior Zug Zug brain just by wearing this tier set bonus. Like, that's how it feels to me. And the rest of it, like, doesn't really match the theme. Like, it's very red at the top, and then it, like, cools down as we go down. Like, everything's just I don't know what's going on, but I don't know. I think this set is pretty silly, and I'm gonna throw it actually underneath the Paladin one. It's not quite as bad as the DH one, but this one kind of gets that rating. So unfortunately, the Warrior one, not super great. I wish they had made something better, but there you go, guys. There is the final list. The best dressed for the next tier, in my opinion, are Druids, Mages, and Hunters. Right underneath them, you've got Monks and Death Knights. And then stuck in the mid-tier, you've got Priest, Rogue, Shaman, Warlock, and Evoker. In the EU category, of course, we have Paladin and Warrior, and never again for that Demon Hunter, please. Can we just make a good Demon Hunter skin that makes them look edgy, like a bunch of edgelords? That's what they are, okay? They're supposed to be, like, spooky and edgy and, like goth, you know, tweens all the time. Right? That's what they're supposed to be. Why aren't we making tier sets that look like that? Anyway, that's my list. That is my list for the best dressed in 10.2. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you disagree with me? I'm sure you do on some of these points. Do you agree with me? Where do you stand on all these different Transmog appearances? Okay? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you so much again for watching. Love you all. I will see you in the next one.